ladies and gentlemen, direct from the
You are now rocking with the best. Hoops and Hip Hop with Coach Carter on the White Label Radio Network.
What's up, y'all? It is your boy, Coach Carter, Hoops and Hip Hop Podcast. Like I said, Coach Carter, a.k.a. Mellow One. And I'm here with a special guest. It's been a couple years in the making. I've been harassing this guy to come do this podcast for a few years. But we got the legendary Ryan Silver in the building.
Appreciate it. Very glad to be here, Coach.
Yes,
Honored
sir.
to be here today.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming across the hill to come see us. I know the traffic is not very, very kind to us in LA. So let's get right to it. I read some of your history, but let the people know, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Florida. I was born in Hollywood, Florida. Moved to California when I was 2 years old.
And what part of California?
Malibu.
Okay. And do you have family still in Malibu?
My family, yeah, my mom and dad both still live in Malibu.
So were they affected by the fires?
They were, yeah. My sister, her house in Palisades burned down. Not good at all.
Damn.
So she's living in Vail, Colorado now.
Wow.
And my parents, fortunately, were not hurt by the fires.
Oh, that's brutal. And it's tough. So, watching that, of course, being in LA, a lot of friends and family in those areas, Altadena, Palisades, it was just tough to watch.
Terrible.
And then the rebuilding process. And then you see, the vultures coming out, and you see like the developers coming in buying up stuff on pennies on the dollar. So it's tough to see. So you went to Malibu High School?
Malibu High School, class of 1997.
Okay. So you're a little younger than me, actually.
1997.
I'm an old head. 97. What was it like growing up in Malibu? Did you surf?
I did not surf. It was.
Wait, you was in Malibu and didn't surf?
Did not surf. It was extremely dysfunctional. Extremely dysfunctional. Everyone is very bored. They have lots of time on their hands, and a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs, a lot of dysfunction.
Was it? So it had a small town feel to it.
Very small town feel, yeah.
And so when it's small towns like that, you get a lot of the debauchery, the stuff that you shouldn't be doing because you have idle time on your hands.
Yeah, a lot of people in Malibu are wildly successful, so you make a lot of money and you're just bored.
Retired, huh?
You end up drinking, doing drugs, other things. I don't judge. I'm a recovering drug addict, recovering alcoholic, recovering food addict, gambling addict. You name it, I'm all of the above. So no judgment.
And you in Malibu, you went to high school there. Did you play basketball?
I did. I was on the Malibu varsity team. We played Paul Pierce my sophomore year.
Inglewood
High School. Inglewood. We lost by 90 points. 9-0. That's a real score. And I realized no matter how hard I worked, I was never going to be a good basketball player. So I decided I was going to become a coach.
That moment right there when you sat down, seeing that score, you said, I'm going to coach instead of play.
That was a life-changing moment. I thought I was going to be an NBA player. Thought I was going to be an NFL player as well, but that was a life-changing moment.
And what was your first coaching gig?
So I started while I was a junior in high school. I coached the 8th grade team at Malibu. And then the next year I coached the 8th grade team. The following year I was actually the interim head coach at Malibu, which was pretty cool for a couple months.
Wait, what age were you when you was interim?
19 years old.
So the kids that you were coaching were the same age.
Yeah.
Did they listen to you?
Yeah, they listened to me. I had my baggy pant, my suit. I was wearing suits to all the games and my suit and tie back then. I had the Pat Riley slick back hair look.
So you said suit and tie. Now, if you look at the NBA or any of the coaches now, everybody's in track suits or polos. What do you think about the new dress code for the coaches and not dressed up in suits and stuff?
Yeah, I'm still a big believer in dressing up for games. Feel like that's just my style, but respect other people's styles.
100%. I wear polo. Even when I was coaching the freshman team, I still wear my polo and tuck my shirt in and did that quarter zips and stuck my shirts in. So,
yeah, people are always looking at you and seeing how you dress, and to me, that was something that was important, especially as a younger head coach.
Yeah. So the respect came by the way you dress. It's funny because an older gentleman told me when I was 19, 20, do you own a suit? I said, no. He said, you should get one. I said, why? I don't need that. I wear jeans. He said,
always wore a suit freshman coach at El Segundo, sophomore coach at El Segundo, JV coach at El Segundo, assistant varsity coach at Lawndale. Always wore a suit.
How did you end up in the South Bay? Because you went from Malibu down to El Segundo. How did you
So
end up
Malibu, graduated from UCLA, went to UCLA, graduated, got a job in El Segundo, and went and met Rick Saboski, who's the coach at El Segundo High School. He said, we have a freshman job available. I said, great, I'm in, I'll take it. I became the freshman coach at El Segundo High School.
And then you worked your way up to you ended up at Sierra Canyon.
So coached at every level of basketball, freshman El Segundo, sophomore El Segundo, JV El Segundo, assistant varsity Lawndale, and then I was the head coach at Rolling Hills Prep for
Yes.
3 years. So I was there for 3 years, had a great run there. And then first year at Sierra Canyon, won a CIF and state championship. Incredible run at Sierra Canyon.
Very first year. So
First year.
first year you touched down. You was that 2011.
First year out of the gates, bam. Jamel Taylor played at Washington. Brian Alberts played at Gonzaga. Marcellus Johnson. The Cohen brothers, Michael Cohen, Daniel Cohen, Jesse Howell, Julian Brooks were like 28-2 CIF champions.
That's crazy. So after that, 2012, what happened?
So 2012, decided to branch off and start West Coast Elite. Left Sierra Canyon and left the Pump Brothers, was working for the Pump Brothers, and started West Coast Elite.
So you left. So you had this championship in 2011, and then you decided just to leave. Why not stay in high school and actually plant your flag a little bit more? You won a championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Obviously, great run at Sierra Canyon. It was just time for me to focus on other things. I think I was really excited about the opportunities that grassroots AAU basketball kind of lie ahead, and also to build a business with West Coast Elite, a tournament business.
What was your major at UCLA?
Political science.
You never thought about getting. So political science is politics. You ever thought about getting into that?
You know, great question. Maybe later on in my life, but politics is nasty. Nasty.
But it's similar to grassroots basketball, no?
It's somewhat similar. Yeah,
Similar.
There's country obviously is very divided right now. It's just sad the way that some people act towards others. Don't like people being so negative. It kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. So you left. So you with the Pump Brothers had a hell of a name. I remember when I growing up, the Pump and Run, that was the place to be. The Pumps had it going on. So now you go from success at Sierra Canyon, winning a championship, then leaving the Pumps, which is also a successful brand, and then branching out. What made you want to just jump out the window and do it yourself?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a huge risk. I think, in my opinion, the Pumps were the most powerful people in basketball at that time, getting coaches' jobs, AD's jobs. So left the Pumps. I just wanted to do it on my own and try to do it, and maybe I would fail, maybe I would succeed, but West Coast Elite obviously was a wild success from day one.
But you originally was Earl Watson Elite, right?
Yep. Early days was definitely fun, challenging, and built it up, and then, transformed the name over to West Coast Elite.
And what's the lion in your, because everywhere you've done, you added a lion to your logo. What's the lion?
Wow, very perceptive. So the lion is a picture of me jumping off the beach in Malibu, and it's symbolic of a lion who's fearless, who just goes out and attacks the world and does things without fear.
Okay, because every company you have had a lion represented in the logo. So, fearless. What did you learn from the Pump Brothers while you were there?
Pumps are some of the best networkers I've ever seen in my life. Denzel Washington, Cedric the Entertainer, Magic Johnson, Snoop Dogg, just incredible networkers. They don't take the word no from anyone. They'll just keep calling. And their Rolodex is as good as anyone in college basketball. So I met so many people through them, and I utilized their relationships to help build my network in college basketball.
Were they supportive of you leaving?
No, they were not.
That was a rhetorical question because I assume they wasn't.
No.
So
no.
how did you mend that relationship? Because I seen them at your event.
Love the Pumps. We're super tight today. Just over time, so much respect for them and what they built and done for me. And just over time, we came back together.
Now they had some issues with things and whatnot, and then you kind of stepped up. Do you think that also humbled them a little bit too, and in regards of you making your name for yourself and them also stepping out a little bit?
We all have issues. I'm a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, food addict. I mean, you name it. So I think everyone has issues. Obviously, we all have issues in life, and just about being resilient and being fearless and overcoming issues.
Do you think so? Now you mentioned and I read your story or whatever, and you're definitely a recovering alcoholic, drug addict. Do you think that addictive nature helps you in what you do now as opposed to hurts you in what you did in the past?
1,000%. Yeah, I think the addictive behavior is extremely helpful in my business.
Yeah, because I watch you even with your workout. Say you're like 10,000 steps, 15,000 steps before 6 a.m. I'm like, dude, I'm sitting here at 6 a.m. like, man, I took 2 steps to the bathroom. And so I watch you. So I'm glad you actually changed that.
Yeah, this summer I have frozen shoulder right now, but I gained about 15 pounds. I've lost 7 of it back so far.
Okay.
So I'm doing 15,000 steps a day, every day, gallon of water every day, and I'll get back down to my target weight of 180 in probably another 2 months.
180 is your target weight. Okay. I remember you used a little rounder when I first met you, and then you just shredded, and then you've been on it. I watched the stories and whatnot. One thing you said that you learned from the Pump Brothers, and I learned this from you in your event because I was able to go to the Final Four this past year for the first time, and everybody asked me, what did you learn from that? And I learned that branding and relationships are the most important thing you can have as a coach or a person in this industry. So I need to brand myself as a great coach or a great trainer, a great whatever, and I also had to have relationships of that. So when it's time for a job or whatever, they can call me and say, hey, coach, I got this perfect opportunity. So what you learned from the Pump Brothers many years ago, I learned from you recently or whatever, and that's what I do now.
I think I look 3 to 5 years ahead and try to identify guys that are going to be head coaches and try to really befriend those guys. Todd Golden, the head coach at Florida, built a great relationship with him 10, 15 years ago. Kyle Smith at Stanford 10, 15 years ago. So Aran Ganat, Hawaii, identifying guys that are really good in the business and building genuine relationships with them, and that'll pay off down the road.
Do you believe everything happened for a reason?
I do, yeah.
You do? Yeah, because I know your story, and you had what made you get sober was the incident in Las Vegas. Correct?
Yeah. So 2010, blacked out at the Mandalay Bay, had a really serious incident with alcohol and fell at the Mandalay Bay, hit my neck, and just a rough night for me. And that was a life-changing moment. I'm really grateful that happened, and obviously it's changed my life in so many good ways.
That's crazy because you had this trouble with alcohol and drugs, but you were wildly successful as a coach. So you were functioning every day, but still able to.
Yeah, there's a lot of functioning alcoholics and drug addicts. I think that alcohol is just a disease, and it's something that can hurt you, but there's a lot of people I know that function as alcoholics.
What did your parents think? You went to UCLA, which is a great institution. You was there for political science, so there's probably like, oh my God, my son, poli-sci, he's at UCLA. They're probably your mom's sitting around the card table at whatever, talking about how great you are. And then you go on to be a basketball coach, high school basketball coach, freshman. You're not making much money.
No money, yeah.
You're making zero money, and you're going from spot to spot assistant coaching. What did your parents think about you chasing this basketball dream?
They just couldn't really understand. I think my stipend at El Segundo was like $300 for 5 months coaching. For the 5 months, not a month. For 5 months.
$300. And I'm complaining about the $3,000 they give you for the 5 months.
Yeah.
You get $300.
So I was getting $300 to coach, and then, they were just like, they didn't really understand it. I told them I'm going to start this youth sports business. They didn't really understand it. And then, obviously sold West Coast Elite to 3 Step Sports in 2020. Great exit there, and no one really understood it.
But the part we're missing is that you also had a successful nightclub promotion business that flowed you. So you was able to do the $300 stipend because you had this successful nightclub business. How did you grow that business?
Yeah, so same thing. Became a promoter, ended up owning nightclubs, had equity in a nightlife group, sold my equity in 2012, had a successful exit there. Just was at the right place at the right time. Got very lucky. But I think what you learn in nightclubs, like I'm out at the bar, the club till 3 a.m, 4 a.m, drinking, blacked out, eating McDonald's, eating Taco Bell. I weighed like 210 pounds. It's extremely unhealthy. I'm down to like 187 now. So just that lifestyle is a very unhealthy lifestyle.
You was able to, I guess, living in Malibu, you had a lot of connections as far as the party scene, celebrities and whatnot, and that allowed you to be successful in this industry
I
too,
think
right?
it's the same formula as I built this huge email list, and I would send out emails every list. I would hire 3 or 4 girls to come over to my house and just call. Grassroots marketing. They'd be there Monday through Thursday, calling people, inviting them to my clubs. So there wasn't really text messages as much. There wasn't really all the social media stuff. So it was phone calls and emails were the 2 ways that I promoted.
So pretty much the same way you do now. Like
Yeah.
every time I see you on the telephone.
Yeah.
I mean, your phone bill now. I mean, now there's no phone bill, but back in the day, your phone bill was probably astronomical.
Yeah, like $1,000 plus.
Yeah. So he's able to sell that and fuel your dream of grassroots basketball.
Yeah.
And once you left the Pump Brothers and started West Coast Elite, what was your first age group that you had when you started?
So that first year we had 17s with Trey Holder, who's unbelievable, all-time leading scorer at Arizona State. Devin Watson, both had a cup of coffee in the NBA. Devin played at San Diego State. Chimezi Metu played in the NBA. Chance Comanche,
Spencer Freedman?
DJ Ursery. Spencer was in like 7th grade or
Okay.
8th grade.
Okay.
So he was on my 8th grade team. So those guys were all seniors. So we started with 3 teams. We had a 17, 16s, and
Where'd you
15s.
get the players from?
Just worked.
Out there?
I mean, I'd been with the Pumps for 5 years.
So everybody knew.
So everyone in LA knew I was.
Got you.
By being with the Pumps, that experience with 5 years with the Pumps, I knew everyone.
Yeah.
And by then, at the end of my run with the Pumps, I was pretty much running all the teams. I was recruiting for all the teams. So again, very grateful to the Pump Brothers for opening up this world to me.
So the Pumps, that's why they wasn't happy when you left, because you took their players.
Not very happy.
Nah, I make that joke now because I was able to meet the Pumps at your event, and they love you to death, and they're very supportive of you. So it's kind of good to give back and, support. And they're still doing it.
They're still doing it. I would not be here today. I would not have had the success that I've had if it weren't for the Pump Brothers.
And so you got sober. How long have you been sober?
13 years from alcohol, celebrating 14 years in September, and 21 years from drugs.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations. That's awesome. How are you able to still function in those environments with the stuff going on?
It's weird. I built this great foundation of sobriety and Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to a meeting every single day, 2 meetings, 3 meetings for the first year of my sobriety with my sponsor, Brian Friedman, and that built this incredible foundation. Now when I'm around drugs, I'm not really around drugs ever. I guess in Vegas sometimes, but not really.
Yeah, but
definitely alcohol, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't even faze me.
Because it's been so long.
It just doesn't. There's zero temptation, zero desire. Just no desire.
And at the very beginning, it was probably tough, right?
Oh, it was very hard. The beginning was like, I think there was a lot of behavioral issues. Pour me. They say pour me a drink. But I was always blaming everyone else for my problems. I didn't really take personal responsibility. Now I try to look at my part in every situation.
When you Google Ryan Silver, this is what pops up. It says one of the most successful AAU programs in the country. You believe that?
Yeah, I think we're the best AAU program in the country.
Why?
I think we're the most successful. I think if you look at our alumni list, hundreds and hundreds of alumni played at every Division I school, hundreds and hundreds of D2 and D3. I think the one thing that we've done differently than most, than 99%, of AAU programs is prioritizing our high academic D3 kids, just like we prioritize our Division I kids. So we've sent 500, 600, 700 kids to Division III schools. Those kids go to Tufts, Amherst, Oberlin, MIT, Williams. They become wildly successful. And then if you look at our coaching tree of the coaches that coach for All in Elite, it's like 50 plus coaches coaching in college. You know, maybe Keith Stevens team takeover, maybe Indiana Elite, maybe a couple other programs in the country, but I don't think there's any program with the volume of coaches that we've sent to college that have coached in our program, and it's growing every day. We've got guys like yourself that run our Valley division that do a tremendous job. You do a great job, Coach Carter. And
thank you.
You look at all of our coaches, there's 10, 15 guys now that will be coaching in college. Molly Williams, our girls director, she just got hired this week as a Division I coach on the women's side. So you look at this coaching tree of coaches, Josh Calvert at Pepperdine, Matt Elkin at Columbia, Justin Downer at Point Loma, guys that have coached with us that are now coaching in college, and it's just going to keep growing and keep getting bigger.
Was that always your mindset or your directive when you came in, as far as that right there?
100% yes. Yeah. Another thing I learned from the Pumps, you know, Scott Perro is the head coach at Rice. Scott Garson is the associate coach at UNLV. Ben Hallen, who's the coach at UCLA for many years. These are all guys that were part of the Pumps coaching tree. You know, when I was there, Jason Ludwig, who's at Santa Clara, TJ Otzelberger, who's the head coach at Iowa State. You know, a lot of people got their start with the Pumps. And I think when you build this coaching tree of coaches and NBA executives, it gives you so much influence and just juice in the space, and you're changing lives.
That's what it's about. I mean, that's the reason why we coach, is because of that. Because, like I said, it's not very lucrative, but you want to actually help some people.
Yeah, I want to touch upon, you know, everyone's making millions of dollars coaching at Ryan Silver's. There's no money in grassroots basketball. There's no money in AAU basketball. If you coach, you're making minimal monies.
Yeah.
You do it because you love it. You do it because you love helping the kids. You could be your training and make 10 times the amount of money that you do coaching. That's a fact.
That's 100%.
You're gone on the weekends. You're gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're going on trips. There's this huge misperception out there that all these AAU guys are making all this money. It's a false narrative.
Yes, it's not true. I mean, there's definitely some money to be made out there, but it's not like it's just raining money like that. No. It's funny because it's also a misconception that when people say, "Oh, Division III," that oh my God, Division III, but those are some of the toughest schools to get in academically. I didn't realize that in the last few years when I'm starting looking at, like, okay, what's a GPA, and it says 3.8, 3.7, 4.0. I'm like, well, kids are talking down about Division III, but academically, they're some of the best programs in the country because 90% of these kids are not playing NBA basketball, so why not go get a good education?
99%.
99%, yes.
99.9%. You know, we have 4 active NBA players right now. Miles Norris, Boston Celtics, KJ Simpson, Charlotte Hornets, Josh Green, Charlotte Hornets, Lamont Butler, Atlanta Hawks. People laughed at me 10 years ago when I started the high academic teams and the high academic camps. And now if you look at any AAU program in the country, everyone started high academic teams. They're nationwide.
Yeah.
We were literally like the first ones to start high academic teams. And even in LA, you know, everyone's D1, 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 D1 or bust. You can go to Occidental. You can go to Claremont. You can go to MIT and get an incredible job and make tons of money.
Yeah.
It's a life-changing place.
Yep, 100%. And people don't see that. And I've started to see it more so that some of my guys can't even get in there because they're not academically smart enough. So
I mean, getting into Occidental and Claremont is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Those are some of the best schools in the country.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the ways that we're different, is that we really prioritize all of our kids, whether they're D1, D2, or D3, or NAIA.
Yeah, I'm looking. It's funny. I've been looking at more NAIA schools recently for some of my guys, just because they can actually get on the campus and play. you know, and actually produce and have a good college experience and get a good education too.
And then life after basketball.
Yes.
You get a job, you have a career. You know, you go to one of those schools, you can make 6 figures 5 years out of school.
So you wrote a book called 40-Year Plan.
Yep.
What was and is Ryan's 40-year plan?
40-year plan is life after basketball, that the ball is going to stop bouncing for everyone.
For you, though. I mean, you personally.
Yeah, just, you know, my 40-year plan was, I think I worked at CAA early on in my life and wanted to be an agent or a manager, and just realized that that wasn't really for me. Somehow my life has ended up being youth sports, which is amazing. I think my 40-year plan was to try to help and give back as much as possible, because I get the most satisfaction in my life when I help others, when I see kids I've coached or been a part of their lives, or coaches out there on ESPN or Fox Sports or CBS. There's nothing more rewarding than that. Nothing.
No, I agree. I had one of my guys on my 17 recently. He actually is at Jackson State. And originally he was going to go to school, and through our coaching network, we found the coach and we had some coaches. So now he's actually going to possibly walk on at Jackson State and actually get a jersey and be on the team. So that's what it's about. He's so excited. Man, thank you, coach, for the opportunity. I'm like, I'm excited just to see you have fun, you know, even if you don't play. The fact that you're able to do that and the smile on your face brings all the joy to me.
It's life-changing.
100%.
Life-changing.
So as you left the Pump Brothers, there's a shift in AAU basketball where it's not independent anymore, and it starts to go towards brands.
Yep.
Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. Why did you go with Under Armour and not Adidas? Because at the time, Adidas was kind of the big dogs in the space.
Yeah, so Jeff Robbins was at Adidas at the time. I got offered a job or a deal at Adidas. I got offered a deal at Under Armour, and just felt like Under Armour really believed in me and my vision. I think the Pumps at that time were with Adidas, and they were so powerful at Adidas. You know, they ran a lot of the stuff that Adidas was doing, so felt better with the Under Armour situation. And, you know, 15 years later, it's been incredible partnership, and very grateful for Under Armour.
And you never thought about branching off doing anything else, like Nike or even the Puma? Nobody reached out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've had lots and lots of offers over the years to go to different shoe companies, but Under Armour's been with me since day one, and just a great situation there.
So you're a loyal individual.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they take care of you too. So
Yeah.
And at the time when you went with Under Armour, did they have their UA circuit? Did they have a circuit, or they just gave you gear and you just
So the
played?
Under Armour circuit, I think, started around 2017, 2018.
Okay.
So it's more of like a regional model. And then that's when the Under Armour Association started, around 2017.
Okay. Okay. And you've had a team in there since the beginning.
Yeah, day one. Yep.
And you have one team or a couple teams?
So we had 2 teams. We had West Coast Elite NorCal, West Coast Elite SoCal for many years, and then just decided to consolidate into one just to make it a little bit easier. Obviously, travel is extremely expensive, and
Yes.
when you're traveling 60 kids to Atlanta, Chicago, South Carolina, it's extremely expensive.
I agree. I mean, I travel this regionally. It's still pricey.
Flights
especially
are
hotels.
more expensive than ever.
Yeah.
Travel more expensive than ever. I mean, the people that are making the most money in youth sports are the travel the
agents.
airlines, and the hotels.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, you go to Atlanta, rooms are $400 a night, you know,
which is crazy.
in Atlanta.
Which is crazy. So, you mentioned your coaching tree and your network of coaches. Who is the most famous coach in your contact right now that you would call and pick up?
I mean, I have relationships with almost every head coach in the country.
Everyone?
Almost, yeah.
So,
Todd Golden at Florida,
Coach
great.
K?
Coach K, know extremely well.
Really?
Yeah, I could call.
I'm a Carolina fan, but I love Coach K.
Love Coach K. Respect him immensely. Great mentor for me. Recruited Nico Mannion and Josh Green when he was at Duke. You know, I absolutely love Coach K. Coach Shire.
Why did Nico go to Duke?
Nico went to Arizona.
Why didn't he go to Duke?
I'm not sure. But Nico had an opportunity to go to play for the Duke Blue Devils.
Oh, my God. And I'm a Carolina fan, and I'm like, yo, like, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then KJ Simpson played for you. He came towards the end, though.
Yeah,
Why did he choose you? Was it something you recruited, or he just came to you?
I saw KJ. KJ is one of the toughest kids I've ever seen in AAU basketball.
I agree.
He's one of the toughest, grimiest, winner, great kid, high character, great parents. And to be brutally honest with you, no one knew that KJ was this good. No one. Wasn't a top 100 guy. The Nike guys were sleeping on him. And I just loved him. Loved him. And, I was like, KJ, this is what I can do. This is what I can do. Unfortunately, he played for us during COVID. Otherwise, he would have been a top 50 guy and would have had offers from Duke and Kentucky and every school in the country. Obviously, at Arizona, Sean Miller was there at the time. We had 7 all-in-elite guys at Arizona at the time. But it all worked out perfectly. He went to Colorado, Tad Boyle, had an incredible career. And I think KJ will be a 10-year-plus NBA player.
He is by far. I remember watching him his freshman year in the Valley and said, that guy is a pro. There's a few guys I've seen like that. I watched him hit that game winner in your top 100 camp, and he waved off some of those top 10 guys and said, I got
Chad
this.
Holmgren, Jalen Suggs.
Yep.
All these
guys. They were at that
the
event. I was there, and he waved them off and hit a game-winning shot.
KJ is an absolute warrior, winner, tremendous kid.
Would you say the same thing about Lamont Butler?
Lamont Butler.
Same thing,
4.0 student, great kid, high character. I was worried his junior year he was going to leave us at Under Armour and All in Elite. He was going to go to a Nike. And I called his mom, Carmisha, one of the best calls I've ever had in my life. She said, Ryan, I already told you, Lamont's not going anywhere. Lamont's staying with you. Lamont's staying for his 4th year with All in Elite. He's going to finish it out. And I'm in charge here. I just started laughing. I said, thank you so much, Carmisha, and hung up the phone. And Lamont finished out his last year with us. And just amazing kid.
He was great. And I don't know him personally, but I'm a student of everything. And I sit and watch. My son was playing at the time in the program on the lower level teams or whatever, and I watched him move around. And I'm like, I told my son, watch that kid right there. The way he moves, the way he smiled, the way he interacted. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't cocky. He wasn't, he was great. And to watch the success was awesome to see.
Just a great kid.
It's good to see good people win. You know, there's a lot of negative feedback or conversations about you. When you mention Ryan Silver, All Elite, or West Coast Elite, or whatever the case may be, there's a lot of negative. Why is that?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think that I don't know. Maybe you could fill me in.
I don't know, because you and I have had a rapport. Like I tell everybody, my son played for West Coast Elite, and I had lost my job. I didn't have any money, and they allowed me to play for free. Like literally, all I had to do was buy the gear pack, and they said you can play for free. And so when everybody says, "Oh my God, it's a money grab," yes, of course, it's a business, so we gotta make money.
Yeah.
But there's also special circumstances that allow in our program to have kids play, and you guys did that. So when I hear those negative things, I haven't had that run-in with you.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you hear those? I'm sure you hear the chatter. How do you feel when you hear that stuff?
To be super honest, I don't hear any of it. I mean, There's a lot of support for what we're doing. There's a lot of support for our program. There's a lot of support for the attitude of gratitude movement. Everything that I hear is positive. I'm not really around negative people. And anytime I go in a gym and people have negative things to say about players or coaches, I remove myself immediately. I don't want to hear negative things about people. It's just not productive. It doesn't help me. It's not a solution. It doesn't help me move forward.
Also on the internet, when I was kind of doing my research, it says you go along to get along approach. You have to go along to get along approach. Is that something you said, or somebody just typed that? Go along to get along. I
just don't fight with anyone. I don't respond to anyone. I mean, people have taken shots on me on Twitter for years.
Yeah.
Or Instagram. I just never respond, never fight, I just don't. My style is just treat people the right way, be a good guy, and keep moving forward. And the success we have will speak for itself. And you look at our alumni tree, you look at our coaching alumni tree. We have one of the biggest programs in the country. Attitude of gratitude is expanding into different cities almost daily. We'll let our work speak for itself.
Is that always been your mindset, even when you was younger at Malibu or at Coach? Have you always kind of had that mindset?
Yeah, I think my early days working at CAA, a lot of the agents there would scream and yell and curse at people, and I just decided early on in my life that I wanted to carry myself a certain way, not fight with people, not argue with people, because when you really think about it, when you start fighting and arguing, and there's just nothing to be gained. It's just more time, more energy. So people can say negative things about me. People can fight with me, but I'm just not going to respond or fight back.
What's your feeling about the current state of grassroots sports or AAU basketball in particular, as far as anywhere from the players to the parents to the teams to the culture?
I think grassroots is in a great spot right now. I think that everyone's so focused on high level, Division I, NBA, but 99% of these kids are going D2, D3, and a lot of people now are playing AAU grassroots basketball for the experience. They just want to play. They're not fixated on going to Division I, going to the NBA. We have our Attitude of Gratitude tournaments, and we have 200-300 teams during live weekends at tournaments that aren't even live. People want to go to Vegas. They want to drink. They want to gamble. They want to have a good time. They want the experience. And there's so much narrative around high level, but that's not 99% of AAU grassroots basketball.
I agree. I mean, it's all about the experience and the exposure. I mean, watching some of my 13, 14-year kids get a chance to go to Vegas for the first time and play against a team from Utah.
The parents, it's the experience. You stay in a hotel. You get to travel. You get to learn what it's like to be a teammate. Everyone is so fixated on high level. That's not, I don't know what millions of kids play AAU basketball. Very few are going to play at a high level. Very few.
Do you think youth sports currently is pricing out the poor minority?
Nah. Again, false narrative. We have a no kid left behind policy at All in Elite. In 15 years, we've never had one kid ever, boy or girl, that couldn't play in our program because of money.
Well, our program, I agree with that. But as far as the whole entire landscape, when you go to these tournaments now and it's $30, $20 a person to get in, it's $30 to park, you have mom, dad, and the kid. By the time you walk in the door with your family, you spend $100 to watch your 13-year-old play for 45 minutes.
Right.
That is not doable for a lot of families, especially now with the current landscape of the economy. And back in the days, we were able to go and see high-level basketball at the Boys and Girls Club or locally or whatever. Do you think that some of these tournaments or these events are pricing out those people?
Yeah, obviously there's events that are $30, $40, $50 a day, whatever they charge, but that's their prerogative, and it's a business.
Yeah.
And if you want to pay $40 to go in, then don't go into that tournament.
Yeah.
Spend $5 and watch the game on Baller TV. If people are running businesses and you don't like the way they're running their businesses, then don't support the business. So for us, we've never had one kid in 15 years that couldn't play in our program because of money. We've given out millions and millions of dollars in financial aid and tuition to play for All in Elite. So for us, money's not an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about the current landscape of high school sports where the shift is now to the private schools as far as kind of like the powerhouse? Back in the days, you would have like the Crenshaw, the Fremont, the Westchesters as the powerhouses.
Fairfax, yeah.
Now you have Harvard Westlake. You have Sierra Canyon. What is your thoughts about that?
Yeah, there's definitely a shift. I think that private schools, Sierra Canyon was the first to kind of build this model around sports, and I really credit Jim Scrumbus and Steve Burnett, the guys there, and everyone has now copied Sierra Canyon because they realize if you have a great sports program, it's going to recruit all these other great families and kids of the school. Sierra Canyon has the Kardashians and all these celebrities that go there, and then it attracts all these other people. So it's definitely been a huge shift in the landscape in the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Why do you think people are up in arms about it when this is pretty much the model of college sports forever? Like the reason why Alabama has the student body they have is because they're successful at football.
Yeah.
So why do you think people are kind of up in arms that high school are doing it?
I think people are negatives. There's a lot of jealousy. I think Sierra Canyon's done an unbelievable job. They built this incredible school, beautiful school. Their sports programs in every sport are good.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of jealousy. When you're successful, the more successful you become in life, the more haters you have, the more people become jealous and successful. And if you look at the run that Sierra Canyon has had in basketball over the last 15 years, it's arguably the top program in the state of California, maybe modern day, in the last 15 years.
Yeah, I agree. Let's shift a little bit because when I was in San Antonio, you had an NIL conference. And that's the next big thing. When are we going to see NIL kind of trickle down to the high school level, or has it started?
Oh, it's full blown in the high school level. I think it's fantastic. People are, up in arms. Why are these kids getting paid? I think it's great. I think it's a great thing. If you look at a lot of the high-end private schools, they're paying kids. They're giving kids NIL deals. And, again, this is America. If, you want to pay kids to come play, good for you. And people can choose to support that or not support that.
Has California allowed that to happen yet? I know the law hasn't changed yet in California, or has it changed for them to have NIL collectives for the high school ranks?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
But I know high school kids are getting paid.
Of course.
Everywhere.
I mean, they've always been kind of
everywhere. And there's other, getting an apartment or a house for someone, and
yeah,
there's other ways around that.
And what is your next play in the NIL space? Are you trying to start a collective? Are you trying to?
So we have a conference coming up in October at the Wynn, which you're invited to. October 3rd, Silverways Media Conference. We have another one coming up in Miami, December 5th,
okay,
the University of Miami. So we're rapidly growing our presence across the country in the NIL space.
Are you starting a collective as far as NIL to start to be able to pay players or whatever? Or are you just kind of just
No, I'm just kind of providing a place for everyone to gather. I help various universities with their collectives and kind of consult and help them. But I think just being the gathering place where everyone can come and learn about NIL is kind of the goal of Silverways Media.
Okay. This is a random Under Armour question, but why hasn't Under Armour jumped into the high school space like other brands like Nike or Adidas? They have high school initiatives. Why haven't Under Armour done that?
I think that's something coming soon.
Is it okay?
Yeah, I think there's a select group of Under Armour elite teams like IMG, predominantly on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I think Under Armour's coming up with a plan to continue to grow in the high school landscape.
Is that something you're part of, or you just kind of?
Something I've definitely told them something that would be a great idea, but Tor Watts, who runs the NIL in the high school at Under Armour, is terrific, and I know that stuff's in the works currently.
Okay, I mean I'm seeing they're doing all these Elite 24 camps and stuff like that. It makes sense for them to jump into
100%.
high schools or whatever. So, so we're gonna wrap it up. But what's next for Ryan Silver, the individual, and what's next for the company?
Yeah, I think just keep growing attitude of gratitude throughout the country into different sports. We're now in soccer. We have our first volleyball camp coming up in a couple of weeks. We have our first lacrosse event. So continue to grow in different sports. Continue to grow the All-Elite program throughout the country. And for Ryan Silver, the individual, is losing back the remaining 8 pounds that I gained this summer and continuing to eat healthy and be healthy and just take care of myself. I mean, you know this as well. You're on the road all the time, traveling, eating unhealthy, pizza, nachos. So just taking care of myself.
Do you still play basketball, like pickup basketball, anything?
I wish. I don't.
No,
treadmill. That's it.
Because we got a hoop right here, and we give you 10 free throws.
No.
So if I gave you 10 free throws, how many would you make?
Probably 5 of 10.
Okay.
Half
I mean,
of
that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not bad. Oh, lastly, wait. You actually came back to coaching this year.
Yeah.
Did you actually coach? Were you sitting on the sideline? Because everybody asked me, Ryan's coaching. I said, well, he has an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So what was your role as a coach?
We had the largest coaching staff in America.
You had about 7 coaches on that
we had
staff.
No, I was excited about getting back in the coaching box But I realized that it's not my greatest strength. So I kind of decided to move out. I was actually 17-2, so we did okay.
So how many times do you check your phone during the game?
0, none.
Yeah, okay.
None.
I can see Ryan taking a call from coach whatever on the phone while the game's going on.
Very focused during the games.
Very
but
focused.
Just not my strength. Obviously, wanted to give other guys the opportunity. But yeah, I did coach the first 19 games for All in Elite this year.
So next season you're not coaching?
No coaching.
So you grand opening, grand closing?
I'm gonna support you, Coach Carter, and all of our excellent coaches. And
wait, so are we making an announcement that I'm coaching the 17 UA team this next summer?
Coach Carter is gonna build the All in Elite Valley into 12 to 15 teams. You have every kid in the Valley this year.
You see that? He's definitely a poli-sci major because you see how he just kind of flipped that around but still gave me some props. I love it because I do the same thing. So many don't know at some point in my life I'm going to run for mayor of Los Angeles.
Oh, I love it.
That is my goal. So
love it. We need you. You have my vote.
Can we get Nick Wallace as the 17U coach, UAA coach next season?
Yep. Nick did a good job. Nick's
man.
a really good guy. Been with our program for years and appreciate everything he's done for our program.
It's funny. Nick offered me a job right there. I left Burroughs at Arcadia, but it's just too far.
Yeah.
I really love Nick. He's a great. I mean, you have an eye for talent, and you have a lot of Malik Bray, grade. Scott Martin. Scott Martin. Let's give Scott Martin some props.
Scott Martin
by far
is the best.
One of the best individuals in the program. Just the way he handles business.
Been with me for 14 years.
He played on your JV team.
Played on my JV team at El Segundo. Tyler Maxwell, excellent.
Yes, Tyler's
Sully
great.
Carter, excellent. Yeah, we have great people.
Yes, I mean, he's no longer in the program, but Jason Simon was great as well, too. He looked out for me and my son tremendously, so shout out to him as well, too. But you have great support around you, and that's one thing Don Staley in her book, she said that have great support around you, and that's going to help you build up. Because you can be the greatest coach in the world, but you can't do everything.
100%.
You know, so Ryan, man, I really appreciate you braving the traffic on the 405
Appreciate it.
to get here, and it's been fun, man.
Yep, you'll be my guy for life, Coach Carter. I appreciate you. Attitude of gratitude. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that. So make sure you follow him at Coach Ryan Silver, Forever a Coach, and Attitude of Gratitude. Make sure you come out to an event. And if you want to play for one of our teams, don't let money stop you. You can reach out to me. And if you want to play any team in All in Elite's program, if it's Seattle, Texas, wherever, call me and I'll call him and make sure that it happens for any kid that. But don't take advantage. Don't pull up in a Ferrari and say you can't pay the tuition because, you know, we can't do it.
That happens all the time.
It happens, right?
All the time.
It happened to me recently. I can't pay coach, but you pull up in the AMG G-Wagon. I know that's 120. Tires are $1,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, on that note, thank you. Hoops and Hip Hop Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Carter, a.k.a. Mellow One, Ryan Silver. We're out. Peace.
You are now rocking with the best. Hoops and Hip Hop with Coach Carter on the White Label Radio Network.